In the world of retail, fresh mushrooms are selling more than ever, with mushroom sales almost doubling in the past 10 years. During that time, 6 million new households have begun using mushrooms. Campbell's ongoing consumer market research and consumer-driven philosophy gives us a clear understanding of what our customers need to successfully satisfy the consumer. Campbell's has learned that consumers want to buy new and unusual produce items. Expect their produce departments to carry exotic mushrooms like shiitakes, oysters, and classic browns. Tend to want clean, white, and above all, fresh mushrooms. Tend to prefer the convenience and sanitation of packaged mushrooms. Prefer the clear tray so they can see the overall quality of the product they're buying. In order to meet these consumer needs for the highest quality and variety of mushrooms, Campbell's utilizes the most sophisticated total systems approach in the business. From processing the finest compost to implanting the highest quality mushroom spawn, to ensuring the optimum growing environment, to harvesting with Campbell's unique one-touch pick and pack system, to utilizing the most technologically advanced packaging and shipping systems available. Nevertheless, the condition of the mushrooms the consumer purchases is in great measure dependent on how the product is handled by both the wholesaler during distribution and the retailer at store level. The care and handling of mushrooms from a retailer's point of view begins with ordering, which must be done carefully, keeping in mind turnover, current sales trends, promotional programs, and merchandising plans. Since the shelf life of mushrooms is approximately 5 days, mushrooms should be ordered to sell as quickly as possible. This is absolutely essential if you want to provide your customers with the highest quality product and minimize your shrink by not having to throw away bad product. Once the order has been placed and shipped, the next step is receiving. Because mushrooms are very delicate and are extremely perishable, they should never be accepted for sale without first checking each unit to see that it meets your critical quality standards. The common button mushroom should always be white in color. Browning is an indication of age, deteriorating quality, or severe bruising. Don't let your inexperienced produce clerks pack any bulk mushrooms in airtight containers that don't allow the mushrooms to breathe properly. Such abuse will shorten shelf life drastically and cause harmful bacterial contamination. It's acceptable for mushrooms to have a minimal amount of sphagnum peat moss on them, which is just part of the natural organic environment that they grow in. Mushrooms should be dry because moisture accelerates deterioration and affects taste and texture. Make sure you store the mushrooms in a refrigerated cooler maintained at 34 degrees to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Handle mushrooms in your cooler very carefully and never stack them more than 5 cases high. The weight of the cases could cause bruising. When considering your mushroom displays, plan to replenish the display as often as necessary to keep it fresh and full. Display mushrooms next to products with contrasting colors to make them stand out. Display should never be more than 2 or 3 rows high to minimize bruising and damage from handling. Here's one way to stack them to show their attractive packaging. You'll notice holes in each Campbell's package. Our specially designed overwrap is air permeable and also contains air holes which have been designed to meet FDA specifications for aeration. This overwrap allows proper air circulation, which prevents the growth of harmful bacteria. When stocking, handle each individual package carefully. Remember, mushrooms are fragile and delicate and can't be thrown around or jammed in place. Make sure they're being properly refrigerated and rotate the product that's already on display. Campbell's codes each package so you can determine when the product was actually picked and packaged. This enables you to exactly calculate when the 5 days of shelf life will expire. Never spray the mushrooms or use misters or foggers on them. Because mushrooms are like sponges. They absorb water readily. While water is great for greens, excess moisture causes mushrooms to deteriorate rapidly and reduce valuable shelf life. It is very important that sales be monitored throughout the day. It's a good practice to just about sell out the product before the next order arrives. If your product begins to turn brown and deterioration is visible, cull the product from your produce stand. If you don't, it will detract from the overall high-quality look of your entire display. Point-of-sale material will help you sell your mushrooms, and Campbell's provides numerous sales aids, from recipe booklets to shelf signage. Another practice to avoid is overstacking the mushrooms or keeping the product unrefrigerated. Keep your displays full to maximize your sales. Never forget that shelf life of mushrooms is only 5 days. One day after picking and packing, Campbell's mushrooms are shipped to your warehouse. Warehouse handling accounts for a second day. That leaves 3 days to sell the product to the consumer in the store. Use your imagination when merchandising mushrooms. Remember, most produce sales are impulse sales. The more attractive and exciting a display you provide, the greater will be your potential for incremental sales. To promote additional sales or ensure that the product moves before a new order arrives, use tie-ins with meat for kebabs, or with eggs for omelets, or with greens for salads. Don't limit shiitake and oyster mushrooms to your oriental vegetables section. Remember, they are sought after by people who already like mushrooms, so merchandise them accordingly. Use point-of-sale recipe cards, nutrition information, or even point-of-purchase in-store video infomercials featuring the high-quality Campbell's Fresh mushroom products. Demonstrations can be quite helpful in increasing sales and profits in your produce aisle. They can stimulate your customer to try new mushrooms like shiitakes, oysters, and classic browns. Make sure your produce staff is knowledgeable about mushrooms so they can really help your customers.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, maybe you can. How come you don't carry loose mushrooms anymore? I like to pick out exactly what I want.
A lot of people felt that way, but we found with all of the handling they became bruised and discolored. So Campbell's packaged them. I think it's a good idea.
What are all these little black specks and stuff?
That's sphagnum peat moss, a natural organic material that the mushrooms are grown in. The reason they don't wash it off at the farm is that mushrooms must be kept dry to preserve their quality and flavor.
Well, how do I clean them?
Don't do anything till you're ready to use it. Take a paper towel and just wipe it off. It'll be fine.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. And what about these other varieties? What do I do with them?
Oh, there are hundreds of ways to prepare them. There's a recipe inside and then serving suggestions on the back. They're a real treat. You'll love them.
Good. Maybe I'll try a package.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Mushrooms are one of your produce department's most profitable sellers. If you follow the simple guidelines in this tape, you'll create a fast-moving, good gross profit item for your department and a marvelous high-quality produce product for your consumers. To help you achieve your sales and gross profit objectives, feel free to enlist the help of the Campbell's sales representatives. They can give you advice on merchandising your mushrooms and provide you with all the sales aids that Campbell's Fresh develops for its customers. By putting Campbell's total system to work for you, you'll get the mushroom varieties your customers want most, the freshness and quality your customers expect, the see-through packaging your customers prefer, the swift, reliable delivery your departments require, the help and support of the best sales force in the produce business, and the outstanding proven sales appeal of the Campbell's Fresh label.